Good afternoon, all. Yesterday lecture we had discussed with pest resistance plants, and we had discussed with RNA interference. How the RNA is interfered in translation process. As a result, no formation of the protein leads to inactivation of particular insects. Now, today we will discuss with the next topic, that is genetically engineered insulin. Let's see in detail. Genetically engineered insulin frequently asked the question of 3 mark. Here, I am taking this topic little bit in detail. Old syllabus as well as new syllabus, I can merge it right now. So, I draw the diagram and which are the important points. You note down, please. United States company Eli Lilly produced first protein for human being known as humulin. It is known as human insulin. યુનાઇટેડ સ્ટેટ્સની એક કંપની છે, એને ફર્સ્ટ આ પ્રોટીન ફોર્મ કર્યું હતું. How it forms the protein, let's see in detail. That company selected the E. coli bacteria. Let's see, I will draw the diagram first here. here I select the two E. coli bacteria. Here this is the foreign gene for the formation of the strand A or chain A of insulin. This foreign DNA consists the genetic course for formation of the chain A of insulin molecule, and here the foreign DNA consists the gene for the formation of the chain B of insulin. Now here for this one we use EcoR1, Escherichia coli R1 bacteria. Yes, so in laboratory, in one cultural medium, the Escherichia coli are kept along with that foreign DNA which form the chain A of the insulin in one cultural medium. And now this will put in the second cultural medium. Now EcoR1 is provided. So you know that what is the function of EcoR1? It forms the sticky end. So here what happened? First of all, you remove the plasmid. From E. coli bacteria from here and here. So now here what happened? The Escherichia, plasmid sticky end is there. Here all students, please now here understand. Here actually this is the blunt end, but you assume that this is the sticky end. Okay, so here saying sticky end is there. And here the small fragment of the DNA which form the strand A of the insulin, and this will form the strand B of the insulin. So sticky ends are formed here. Now here this is the important, very important point. With the help of ligase enzyme, now DNA ligase enzyme, so with the help of DNA ligase enzyme, what happened here? This plasmid and foreign DNA for formation of the strand A will form the recombinant DNA or recombinant plasmid, just like this. Okay, so now this is the recombinant plasmid which consists the gene for the formation of the strand A of the insulin, as well as here same way with the help of DNA ligase enzyme, the same thing is here, but here the plasmid consists chain B. Okay, fine. Now these are known as recombinant plasmid. Okay, dear all students, now please pay attention here. This is the very important thing. When we add lactose okay, now here I can explain you this topic in very brief, that so many points are not given there. So we introduce this recombinant plasmid back into E. coli bacteria. Yes, this one also fine. So that is known as recombinant E. coli bacteria. Now we kept this E. coli bacteria in cultural medium, but we add lactose in it. As a result, what happened, that this plasmid consisting E. coli bacteria produce chain A of insulin, and this plasmid produce chain B of insulin. So when we add the lactose in the cultural medium, then this recombinant plasmid produce the insulin A, and this produce the chain B of insulin. Now we join these two strands of chain, join together by the most important one, C peptide bond. Okay, the two strands, the chain A and chain B, are joined together by C peptide bond. It is known as proinsulin. And now, after removal of this C peptide, it is converted into mature insulin. Okay, so the point is this, that C peptide bond is present only in proinsulin, whereas mature insulin lacks of C peptide. See in the textbook that one strand is there and C peptide bond is attached to it. Okay, so proinsulin consists C peptide, but proinsulin is modified and converted into mature insulin, and this mature insulin can now used for the treatment of the diabetes. You know that how diabetes occurs? Now you know everything about diabetes mellitus. Here I am talking about diabetes mellitus. In human being, there are two types of diabetes. Diabetes mellitus is a disease of pancreatic disorder. Pancreas, islet of Langerhans. Pancreas, islet of Langerhans, beta cells are unable to produce insulin. So due to lack of insulin here, alpha cells perform its function very well. As a result, alpha cells produce more and more amount of the glucagon hormone, and due to the glucagon hormone, more and more sugar is created by glycogenolysis, means breakdown of the glycogen molecule, as well as gluconeogenesis, that is formation of the new molecule of the glucose from lipid as well as protein. As a result, blood sugar level increased. One thing you know that for diabetic patients, we measure the blood sugar level at two types. FBS, that is known as fasting blood sugar, and PPBS, postprandial blood sugar. PPBS, postprandial blood sugar, is 90 to 120 milligram.
બરોબર એક મિનિટ પરમાર આર્યન ને કહો નામ આપનું નામ લખો ફોટો ને પરમાર આર્યન ને કહો
Parmar Aryan, please write your full name, please.
ભાડકા ઋતુલ ને કહો કાલથી પૂરું નામ લખજો
Bhadka Rutul, please write your full name. Thank you very much to all. So here, postprandial blood sugar, that is 90 to 120 milligram per 100 ml of blood, and due to the more amount of the glucagon hormone, hyperglycemia situation is created. Now what do you mean by hyperglycemia? Increase the blood sugar amount, and here for this we are producing the insulin as a laboratory level. But you can't imagine, you were shocked, you are shocked to hearing this. Previously, before so many years, by giving the sugar injection to pig, yes, by giving the sugar injection to pig produce insulin from the pancreas, and now we had isolate that insulin from the pig's body, and that insulin is of animal. We had isolated that insulin from the pig's body and introduced into the diabetic patients. You had already learned with human health and disease chapter. In that we had discussed that the animal's insulin is foreign particle for our body. It is pathogen. As a result, what happened? That animal insulin is rejected. So, before so many years, the person had taken that animal insulin. Yes, with the help of that insulin, we are able to reduce the blood sugar level. But this is the animal protein, so it is antigen for our body. Some side effects were created. That's why scientists think about that what we will do. So they had selected the foreign DNA which produce the insulin, examine it, and they find out that insulin consists two strands. So insulin consists two strands, strand A and strand B. So please remember, this is the most important for MCQ. Strand A consists 21 amino acid and strand B consists 30 amino acids. So total 51 amino acids are present in mature insulin. Okay, so this is about genetically engineered insulin. 3-mark question, you have to explain this much. Okay, let's see from textbook. Management of adult onset diabetes is possible by taking insulin at a regular time interval. Generally, diabetic patients can take the insulin just before meal or breakfast. What would a diabetic patient do if enough human insulin was not available? So as a result, what happened? Due to hyperglycemia, more metabolic activity occurs, and high blood sugar, metabolic activity is affected. As a result, what happened here? That human being will die. And as you know that the insulin injection can be taken intramuscularly, IM. Yes, if we give the insulin injection intravenously, IV, then person will immediately die. As a result, what happened? What is the reason behind the death? By introduction of the insulin intravenously, severe hypoglycemia occurs. Severe hypoglycemia. So much more amount of sugar is reduced. As a result, death occurs. Okay. If you discuss this, you would soon realize that one would have to isolate and use insulin from other animals. જો આપણને ઇન્સ્યુલિન પ્રોપર અમાઉન્ટમાં ઓબ્ટેન નહીં થાય તો આપણે એનિમલ્સમાંથી ઇન્સ્યુલિન એક્સટ્રેક્ટ કરાવવું પડશે. Would the insulin isolate from other animals be just as effective as the secreted by human body itself? And would it not elicit an immune response in the body? Yes. Here, first question answer is no. Not that much effective, just we are using the insulin nowadays. It produces so many side effects. And second question answer is yes. Our immunity power reject it. Now imagine if bacterium were available that could make human insulin. Suddenly the whole process becomes so simple. You can easily grow a large quantity of the bacteria and intake as much insulin as you need. At the end of the 11th chapter, we had discussed that we are producing the protein at a very large scale, 100 to 1000 liter in bioreactor. So arrange so many bioreactors together and you can able to produce higher amount of the insulin. Think about whether insulin can be orally administered to diabetic people or not? Yes, we give insulin orally to the diabetic patient. But listen, if you want to note down, then note down this answer. If we give insulin orally, then insulin is a protein. As a result, this insulin is digested by protease enzyme. As a result, what happened? The effect of insulin cannot be seen. So, to obtain the proper effect of the insulin, we have to take it intramuscularly. Okay. Yes, but orally administration of the insulin cannot give that much effect. Yes, it able to give the effect, but compared to the intramuscular insulin injection, that cannot give that much higher effect because insulin is digested by stomach. You note down that. Once this answer question was asked in NEET, if we give insulin orally to the patient or to the human being, what will happen? Insulin used for diabetes was earlier extracted from pancreas of sluggard cattle or pigs. Insulin from an animal source, though, caused some patients to develop allergy or other types of reactions to the foreign protein. Insulin consists of two strands, chain A and chain B. Yes, in mature insulin, you remember that chain A and chain B are joined together by disulfide bond. Okay, so please you note down. So you know that disulfide bond is absent in proinsulin and C-peptide is absent in mature insulin. In mammals including humans, insulin is synthesized as a prohormone, like a proenzyme. The prohormone also need to be processed before it becomes fully mature and functional hormone, which contain extra stretch known as C-peptide. See in the diagram, the gray margin that is of C-peptide. Labeling is not given there. C-peptide is not present in mature insulin and is removed during maturation of the insulin. Yes, C-peptide is removed at a maturation. So at a maturation, what happened? The relieving of the C-peptide bond and connection of the disulfide bond. The main challenge for production of the insulin using recombinant DNA technology was getting insulin assembled into the mature form. You remember this? In 1983, Eli Lilly American company prepared two DNA sequences corresponding to A and B chains of human insulin and introduced them in the plasmid of the E. coli bacteria to produce the two strands of the insulin in this way. So the foreign DNA for formation of the chain A and chain B of the insulin that can be introduced into the plasmid of the E. coli bacteria. Chain A and chain B were produced separately, then joined together by disulfide bond, and in this way mature insulin is created. Okay, so this is not given there. Fine. Most important for MCQ. Now we continue with gene therapy. Most important therapy. Gene therapy means replacement of affected gene by normal gene. Let's see in detail. If a person is born with a hereditary disease, can a corrective therapy be taken for such a disease? If the person born with disease, can we able to cure this disease? Yes. Gene therapy is an attempt to do this. We can treat the genetically affected person by this gene therapy. But nowadays, this gene therapy is very, very expensive, cannot be afforded to every person. Gene therapy is a collection of methods that allows correction of the gene defect that has been diagnosed in a child or embryo. Yes, in embryo, if we use the gene therapy, so genetically defect can be cured, or in child also, but not in adult. અત્યારે જનરલી એવું કરીએ છે કે see, one thing I want to tell you, I had told to you in the 5th chapter that Down syndrome, Turner syndrome and Klinefelter syndrome persons are sterile, infertile. Can we able to produce the children of them? Yes. Sir, એ સ્ટરાઇલ છે તો બી ચિલ્ડ્રન પ્રોડ્યુસ કરી શકશું આપણે? We can isolate the ovum or sperm of the affected patient. Then we use the gene therapy. We can treat the cell, and after treating the cell, allow it to fertilize. Then what happened? This genetical disorder cannot come in the embryo. Okay. Here genes are inserted into the person cells and tissue to treat the disease. Yes, it is the in vitro method. In vitro method માં આપણે શું કરવાનું છે? Isolate the cell from the person's body. Treat it by gene therapy and again introduced that back into body. Correction of genetic defect involves delivery of normal gene into the individual or embryo to take over the function of and compensate for non-functional genes. Main aim of gene therapy is this, that we delivered the normal genes in the body. As a result, affected genes or non-functional genes can work it properly. See, the first clinical gene therapy was given in, please underline this point, in 1990 to a 4-year-old girl with adenosine deaminase deficiency. See, this is the important line. In 1990, 4-year-old girl conceived ADA deficiency, adenosine deaminase enzyme deficiency. As a result, what happened? That 4-year-old girl consists of one disease. Yes, it is an autoimmune disease. It's a fatal disease, incurable. Just yes, you are right. It is exactly like AIDS. Autoimmune disease means the disease in which the body immunity power can attack over its body itself. This is known as autoimmune disease. So that girl consists SCIDS. The full form of SCIDS, severe combined immunodeficiency syndrome. Okay, that is not given there. This enzyme is crucial for immune system to function. The disorder is caused due to deletion of the gene for adenosine deaminase. In SCIDS, deletion of the deaminase, adenosine deaminase enzyme. In some children, ADA deficiency can be cured by bone marrow transplant. So you think about that what happened here. In SCIDS, bone marrow is affected, and you know that bone marrow is the main lymphatic organ of our body. All the blood cells are formed here, primary lymphoid organ. So we treat the disease by bone marrow transplant. In others, it can be treated by enzyme replacement therapy. Yes, if someone can unable to produce the ADA, so we will introduce the ADA artificially. Just similar to this, if the person is unable to produce the insulin, we can introduce the insulin artificially. Same like that, enzyme therapy, in which functional ADA is given to the patient by injection. But the problem with both, એ બેનો problem શું છે? Of this approach, that they are not completely curative. Yes, if you transplant the bone marrow, then after few days the bone marrow is also affected, and you have to introduce the enzymes recurrently. So these two are not permanent method to cure this SCIDS. As a first step towards the gene therapy, lymphocytes from the blood of the patients are grown in a culture outside of the body. So this is known as in vitro. Okay, so we take the lymphocyte of the patient. We can isolate the lymphocytes from the patient's body. Functional ADA cDNA. Adenosine deaminase enzyme consisting cDNA, cloning DNA, we can introduce into the lymphocyte, then introduce this lymphocyte back into the patient. But what happened here? However, as these cells are not immortal, yes, when the treated lymphocytes life is over, the lymphocytes will die soon. As a result, we have to introduce genetically modified lymphocytes again and again. And patient require periodic infusion of such genetically engineered lymphocytes. तो आपने patient ने periodically genetically engineered lymphocytes आपको पड़से. So now all of you are thinking about, sir, these all are temporary treatment. But what is the permanent treatment? Let's see. However, if the gene isolate from the marrow cells, producing ADA is introduced into the cell at early embryonic stage. If the person has SCIDS, pre-embryonic stage means in zygote. Yes, in zygote you isolate the zygote, treat it, and again introduce the treated zygote back into the body. Or if the person has SCIDS, then sperm or ovum separately can be isolated, treated with the suitable therapy, introduce the ADA cDNA genes, find inside the cells, and then we are able to cure it. It could be permanent cure. So if you are able to cure this, cure this disease, you have to introduce the ADA cDNA in pre-embryonic stage only. So this is about the gene therapy. And one thing I want to tell you, that gene therapy can be used in cancer, Parkinson, SCADS as well as AIDS also, but in pre-stage only. In a later stage, the much more cells are affected. We are unable to cure all this disease. Fine. So I hope you understand this topic. Thank you very much to all. See you in next lecture.